Hello, I'm Carson, and I'm starting the PCT in a few days now. And so I figured I'd sit down. I realized that I hadn't actually made a video on why I'm through hiking the PCT, which is something that I wanted to talk about. But also I gotta pack my bag for real. It so I figured it could be kind of an informal packing my bag and chatting, getting out some of my jitters before I start, and all that. Most of my gear is the same. I made a gear video maybe a couple months ago. There's a few random additions, and also I'm not really packing a lot of my clothes right now because I need to wash them. um so I'm not gonna, I don't know, really go into detail with my gear, but I do need to pack it. One of my bigger reasons for through hiking the PCT that I think is, oops, I don't know if that made a weird noise. I think is fairly obvious if you've watched my other videos or if you know me, but I through hiked the AT in 2021, and it was just a great experience. And so part of me is kind of seeking that experience or something that fulfills the same kind of things. In particular, um, the AT was a really good experience for me as far as meeting a lot of people, making some really cool friends, being able to explore the country on a much slower scale, I guess. And also just I think that working day by day towards a large goal, but in tiny increments, is very rewarding in a way that a lot of things aren't. This is one of the new additions. I got a 3 liter. I always thought these were called Cnox because that's what I've heard people call them. And then I got some of the advertising videos on social media, and apparently it's Canuck, which I don't like the sound of, but whatever. So I got that in addition to 2 smart water bottles and a random smaller bottle. So I've got 5.5 liters capacity, which should be plenty, I hope. I should probably put those on the inside of my pack since this is going to be checked baggage. Right. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'm also not really packing how I want to pack my bag, but rather packing for the airport, and then I'll have to probably repack everything anyway. That's okay. Another reason that I'm starting the PCT that I think feels very special to me, and I am so grateful for, is I grew up with parents who were pretty outdoorsy. My mom is the one who took me backpacking for the first time, but more importantly, she has a connection to the PCT. I grew up hearing her stories from back in 1993 when she hiked 500 miles of the PCT, and I never really, hearing those stories growing up, it's not like I dreamed of that or thought that I would ever do something like that necessarily. Because I really didn't think about the PCT until after I had completed the Appalachian Trail. But going into the PCT, regardless, I feel this connection to my mom and to those stories. And even though it's a very different experience now than it was in 1993, from what I can gather. I still feel like I'm a little bit carrying on a legacy of hers, which feels really nice. And with that, she is very excited to come to the southern terminus to drop me off, which I think will be really cool. So she's flying out with me and then gonna stick around for the first 3 nights. So we'll stay at Cleef and then Morena and Laguna together before we go our separate ways, which is something I'm so grateful for. My parents have been very supportive of both of my through hikes, and I think it'll feel very special to have her there, and have that moment together. I've got kind of a large bag of like medical toiletry type things, sunscreens, stuff like that. Um, some of it will be used and then disposed of. I was talking about this in my earlier gear video, saying that I hadn't decided what my first aid kit would look like. Um, I am a wilderness first responder, which last time I did a through hike, I had no wilderness medical training. And now I have an 80-hour certification. And so I feel a much larger responsibility, I think, because I have the knowledge of how to treat things for the people around me and like myself to a lesser extent. So I have like, yes, a small, but like a much more substantial first aid kit than a lot of through hikers have, particularly with the like knowledge I have of how to use things and how to improvise and stuff like that. Um, so I feel pretty good about that. I think that should be. I feel like this is the best balance between lightweight and minimal, but also like having some supplies to help folks out if needed. Um, yeah. And I got some general like antibiotics prescribed, which makes me feel a lot more comfortable too, because I am more scared of infection than I should be, probably. I've got a few things in my food bag already, but I will be grocery shopping in San Diego once we get there. But I have a few like odds and ends of things that will work that I'm moving out of my apartment, so gotta get rid of stuff anyway. Yeah, lots of Ziplocs. I feel like I don't really need a bug net for the start, but I also would not want to have someone have to ship me something just because I need a bug net, and it's small anyway, so I think I'm gonna bring that with. And I'm noticing that some of the stitching is coming undone, which is not good, but it should work. I have a little ditty bag. There's not much in my ditty bag. I've got an SD card and a reader to try to make sure I'm managing all of the like videos and stuff that I'll be taking. Little repair kit, chargers, stuff like that. I have a Chums wallet. Love it. Not putting that in there because I need it for life. Food. It's just a plastic spoon. It's like hard plastic, like it's reusable, but it's still plastic and it's lighter than my titanium long handled. So I guess I'm bringing this. Okay, I should just shove this stuff in. And then I've got a few things that will go in the pockets of my pack. Chopstick, small knife. I've already got my headlamp and stuff like that. Hand sanitizer. And then my earbuds, because I listen to way too much music on trail. And I think my inReach I should put probably. Oh, that has a I guess anything with a lithium battery I should have in carry on.